Have you ever struggled with handling files in your Node.js applications? Maybe you needed to read configuration files, write logs, or manage large amounts of data efficiently. Well, you're not alone. In this video, I'll walk you through the FS module in Node.js, which makes file handling easy and efficient. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced developer, understanding how to read, write, and manipulate files properly is crucial for building real-world applications. By the end of this tutorial, you'll be able to read files synchronously and asynchronously, write and append data to files, handle file deletion and renaming, avoid common mistakes and errors. So let's dive in.
Node.js provides us the fs module, that is file system module, which allows us to interact with the file system on our computer. It helps in reading and writing files, managing directory, and checking the file stats, and much more. To use that, first I'm gonna use a folder I already created, and inside that I'm gonna create another folder called Node.fs. You can give anything you want, name, and I'm gonna open with it using the VS Code editor. Here I'm gonna create a file name called app.js. You can name it anything you want. First, to use fs model, we have to import it. To import it, just type. That's it. Now let's start with writing and appending to file. This is useful for creating logs, saving user data, or generating reports. To do that, just type fs.writeFileSync of. You can give name anything. For this, I'm gonna go with as example.txt, and inside it, I'm gonna give it hello world, simple hello world, and I'm just gonna console it saying file created. Now, to see if this is working or not, go for the terminal and just press node and the whatever the file name you have given. For me, that is app.js. See, file is created, and here you can see example.txt file is there with the word which I have given. So what this write file sync does is it's gonna create a new file or replace the existing file. But what if you want to add something more in this file only? To do that, let me go for fs dot. Let me comment it out. I just don't want fs dot append file sync of the same whatever I'm using example.txt, and /n is for going for the new line. This is the appended text, and then in the next line I'm gonna go give it as console.log file appended. Now I'm gonna save it, and if I run node app.js again, file is appended. Now if I go for the example.txt, see, this is the appended text. Now if I don't want this, I can remove the n, and if I type it again, see, it's gonna come here only text after that. It doesn't look nice and it's not organized, so we are gonna use /n for it. So it's gonna give in the next new line. Now I'm gonna teach you how to read the file. To do that, let me comment this out. Don't want it to repeat again. To do that, we have to go for fs. Now I'm going to store the data whichever is coming from there as data.fs.readFileSync and the file name which you want and UTF-8. I will explain about this. Wait a minute. And if I console log the data, if I save and if I run it, see, hello world, this is the appended text. Whatever it is in this folder, it's gonna give me that as a text. Now if I don't use this UTF-8, Let me clear it, and if I save and run it again, it's gonna give me a buffer like a binary data. The UTF-8 parameters specify the character encoding that should be used when reading the file. UTF means Unicode Transformation Format. 8 means 8-bit. It is the most widely used character encoding for text file. See, without UTF-8, Node.js returns a raw binary data. It's a buffer instead of readable string. When UTF-8 is provided, Node.js automatically converts the file's content into a human readable string like this one. So UTF-8 is important for reading the files in human language. See what this read file sync does is it blocks the execution, which is okay for small files but not for large ones in high performance. What it does is if it takes more time while reading the data, it's a lot of n number of data is there, it's going to stop all the execution which is coming after this. To solve this, we will use the asynchronous file reading. If you want to keep our application responsive, we will use asynchronous approach. For this, what we have to do is, let me comment it out, fs dot just read file, and as usual we will go for the same example and UTF. Here we are going to add two things. One is the error and another is the data. Whatever we are on data we are getting. Here, in case of error, we are going to console that error. Like we can give a message also, error while reading file, and afterwards we can give whatever the error is coming from the side. And if there is no error, we can directly console log the data. Now if I run it, there is no error, it's gonna give us the data. What this does is, it's a non-blocking one, meaning the program can continue executing other tasks while the file is being read. If the file is too much, it's gonna keep on reading this one. But on the other hand, the next program, whatever is there, it's gonna keep on executing that also. When this is completed, reading the data, and that time it's gonna give us the output. Now we will go for deleting, renaming, and checking the files. Sometimes we want to delete or rename files dynamically. I will go and show you how to do that. For that, we are going to use for deleting, we are going to use fs dot. Before deleting, I'm going to show you how to rename it. See, we are going to use rename async. You can use either rename async or rename only. As I told, it's all about synchronize and asynchronize. And I'm going to change it from example.txt to example1.txt. If I save it and run it, see, file is renamed. See, as you can see, example.txt is changed to example1.txt, but the content remains same. This is how we are going to use fs model to rename a file. Next, if I want to remove or delete a file, I'm going to use fs.unlink sync and whatever the file name, uh, whatever the file I want to remove. In this case, it's example1.txt, and if I save it and if I run it, see, file deleted. I don't have any files. See, this is a deleted file. You cannot see it. So these operations help automate files management tasks in application. So you don't want to, like, if you want to delete data from a backend or something like that, this is gonna help you. Now, for handling common errors, the errors we are gonna get in this type. situations is one of the things, most things is trying to read a file that doesn't exist. Now, if you try to read a file that does not exist, your app is gonna crash. To avoid it, we are gonna use a simple. Before avoid it, let me show you how it is gonna crash. If I just not the right one, the reading one. Yeah. If I go for this and if I click on save and see, I'm gonna get an error. It has crashed. To resolve this, we have to go for conditioning, if else statements. To that, if sorry, if fs dot exist sync, like it's checking for if the file is existing or not, of whatever the file name you want to check. In this case, I'm going to give for example1.txt only. Let me remove example.txt only. Then I'm going to store the data in data variable using this and all. And I'm going to console the here data. If not, else condition, I'm going to console for file not found. Now if I run it, Node.js, see, it's going to give us file not found. If the file is present, let me create a new file using this same thing. See, file is created and the text is hello world from this example txt, and I have also read it using these conditions. Now another one of the common mistakes, not handling errors in async method. Async methods return error in the callback. We have to always handle them. How to do that? I'm gonna show you. fs dot read file of the same thing we are gonna do. Now fs dot read file of whatever the example one is there, and it's go if we get error, we'll go for error while reading file. Otherwise, we will go for console.log. I think we did that here also. Some of the time we forgot to do this one. While if we don't do this one, we are gonna get a lot of issues. Why? So we have to handle the callback error. If I type now, see hello, it is coming, no issues. If I change it here, right, I will change it to 1. And if I console it, see error while reading the file. And the error is no such file or dictionary found in this path. This prevents app crashes and improves stability. So,
Before we wrap up, let's look at how this knowledge is useful in real world applications. Like logging system for writing logs for debugging errors, and JSON configuration files for reading and updating JSON files, also like user data storage for saving user preferences in a file, and in cases like server file management for handling file uploads and downloads. Knowing how to manage files efficiently will make you a better Node.js developer. And that's it. You now have a solid understanding of the Node.js FS module for reading, writing, and managing files. Try out these examples in your own projects and see how they work. Drop a comment below if you have any questions or ran into issues. Like and subscribe if you found this helpful. I've got more amazing tutorials coming your way. Happy coding, and I'll see you in the next one.